Hello, Liberty Chess Kids. This is Mr. Konashek here again to review another game from our online tournaments. It's so good to see some of you guys online playing during this extended school break. So the game that I've chosen is between Nicefunnybadger and purefarkiwi from Wednesday, March 18th in our online tournament. And it's really good to review your games, to go over and see what you did well, what you did not so well, and it gives you a chance to learn from your mistakes, and it allows your brain to process and to learn. We've all heard of that growth mindset. So reviewing your games is really important. So in white we have Nicefunnybadger and purefarkiwi. So let's take a look at this game here. So both sides actually do a pretty good job with the opening, getting pawns out in the middle as well as their minor pieces. Black goes ahead and takes the pawn. White takes the pawn here. So even though white is behind by just a pawn, there are 1, 2, 3 minor pieces out, and black only has 1 minor piece out. So even though black is ahead of pawn, it's not really all that big of a deal because white can attack this pawn here and easily gain it back, and more importantly is ahead in development. You got 1, 2, 3 of these pieces developed here. So maybe a little early for black to be snatching pawns off the board. Generally in the opening you want to avoid moving the same piece more than once. So if black, another great move would have been just move the bishop out here to d5, or simply just bringing the knight out to c6. Just developing, trying to get as many minor pieces out on the board as possible. So black takes, and not much sense in just trading off knights here, because again at this point black has no minor pieces on the board while white has 2, and still this pawn is undefended here. Black brings the bishop out here, and this is generally d6 is not a great square to protect pieces with, just because it clogs up the middle and prevents the pawn from coming out. It's not really aimed so much at the middle of the board. It does give black the chance to castle, but this ends up being a mistake, because if white goes ahead and moves to g5, we're attacking this weak square here, the f7 square. You got the bishop and the knight both attacked here. If black tries to defend it, white can continue to attack here, the black's king side, and again, if black goes ahead and defends, we see a fork here with the knight attacking the rook and the queen. Defending again is only going to allow white to capture the rook. By trading off queens for black, he has to take the queen back, and it's the rook off the board, a crucial piece for black. So a better move for black could have been just simply bringing the pawn to c6, with the intention of developing a pawn to the middle, to one of the middle squares, d5. So white goes ahead and takes, and at this point here, white makes a mistake here, just simply giving up the knight here. White takes back, and again here, what might have been better for black at this point was just to castle. No sense really in retreating the bishop here. Castling would have been better. White makes a move here, and again, moving a piece again not really attacking anything here in the middle. Waste time is a waste of time for white. What would have been better would be just to develop a bishop. Okay, getting another bishop out, or maybe even the queen out here, where both pieces are attacking this weak f7 square, and putting pressure on white, forcing white to defend the square. So going back here, yeah, a wasted move for white. Black again, moving this bishop again for, I think, the third time. You know, it could easily be defended here. Not really, I see putting the pin on here, but white could castle and take the pin off. So, whoops, mistake there. So better move for black would have been just, again, put pressure on this bishop to force him back. White moving a pawn on the king's side up too far. It looks like black's queen is attacking, threatening checkmate with the queen here. But again, white can easily defend. Maybe a mistake here for black. Maybe he was intending to castle and the piece slipped. Attacking move for here for white, putting pressure on the queen. White ends up castling, but again, this is a pretty dangerous position for white here, exposing his king with no protection. Maybe a better move would be just to put more pressure on black and forcing the queen to move. Black moves the king over, but missing a free bishop. So instead of moving here, this bishop is left exposed and or left hanging, and black misses that one, and white sees the opportunity and checkmate. So a sneaky checkmate for white. Black leaving the back rank undefended. And it goes to show you, when you don't develop your pieces, when you don't get castled, you can leave yourself into trouble. But this is why we go over the games. This is how we learn. And I'm looking forward to seeing both players improve.